interesting stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
And, well...
What a better night to talk about our history.
I know. Especially because we have what could be the next step.
The next step.
Oh my God. Welcome to Tech Mess. Morbid Message Monday. Today, we have some exciting things going on. We have some very exciting things. We are going to be doing Tech Mess, a year in review. And this idea spawned very similar to the way Tech Mess spawned, out of fucking nowhere.
Yep.
So
basically,
yeah, legitimately. I mean,
there's actually there's a really funny reason as to why this idea came to be, and I'll tell you guys once we show you.
Guys, we are going to play Phasmophobia after this, but we want to talk to you about a little bit of Tech Mess. So Matt, are you ready?
I'll fix that later. Yes.
Yes. Can you brighten yourself up a little bit? You're a little dark. You're a dark boy.
Yeah, actually I can.
You're a bit of a dark boy.
I now that I can control my camera through my phone, I can do it all.
I want it all. And I want it now.
No, that's the shutter anger.
Anger?
12.
That's the shutter anger.
The shutter anger.
That's
as far as I want to go without like nastying up my ISO.
All right, so let's flash back to August of 2020, right?
Was it 2020? Yeah, no, it was 2020.
It's 2020. Let's flash back to August of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
There's this guy named Jake. Okay, he used to run a podcast called I Hope This Doesn't Suck. Then he ran a podcast called A Decade Under the Influence with his friend Lucas. And Jake stopped doing his podcasts.
Right.
Jake started to feel a little bit of an emptiness when COVID hit. And something that I used to do to kind of help fight that feeling of, a little bit of depression, pain, creative block, anxiety was to make my podcast. My podcast was called I Hope This Doesn't Suck because I had so much anxiety about it just being absolute crap. And the other podcast I did was a music podcast with my friend, and that was all fun and everything, but it became a little too much.
Right.
So I had this idea because at that point I also got really into like building PCs and playing games and talking about things of that nature. So
from the start of the pandemic, we were constantly messaging back and forth, just talking about like tech news and like all the things that were like happening and coming out.
Yeah, and what it came down to was Matt was my friend, or has been my friend since high school, and we've always kind of shared the love of tech and all things, nerdy, creation. I guess, media creation, right? Both of us did freelance work, and both of us were stuck not doing freelance work. Still kind of have been, to be fair, but we'll get more into that later.
Right.
So I messaged Matt one day, and I'm like, hey, we should start a podcast because, I know how to make podcasts. I've done one. I've done two, right? We should do that.
And I legit told him, yes, that sounds like a great idea. And then to myself, I was like, it's never going to fucking happen.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And that's the thing, right? Because maybe I'm not known for following through as much. Being that I had two podcasts and both of them are gone.
Right.
3 technically, if you get into this one. But so
we did kill one.
Matt was like, wow, that sounds like a great idea. That would be a lot of fun. We should definitely do it. And then both of us, I guarantee both of us were like, okay, well, he's not down.
And it floated for about a month there.
It did. It wasn't even
like a month or two.
It was like July that I reached out to you actually. And I think to Matt's surprise, I kept harassing him. Like, when are we doing this? When are we going to do it?
I think it was the second time you messaged me and you were like, hey, when are we going to start this? And how are we going to do it? And I was like, wow, he's actually serious about this.
Yeah. And I remember we decided to just do a live podcast.
Yeah.
Neither of us knew anything. I literally mean nothing. The first time I used OBS was the first time I went live.
Hmm.
Okay, you can go back to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/techmess, and go all the way to the first video. That's our very first live stream.
They're all on there.
They're all there. And our entire idea for this show was to be a tech news show. Like Matt was saying. And I would scour the internet, Matt would scour the internet, we would put notes into a folder, and we would read them off live.
It was brutal. Like, we spent a lot of time researching.
We did. We spent a lot of time researching. And I think we were very easily dismayed. If that makes sense. Because we were super stoked to do it. And surprisingly, so was Twitch. I mean, we had like a pretty decent amount of people who were actually interested in what we were doing.
Yeah, I think the podcast, I think it must have peaked at probably like, it was probably like 6 or 8 live viewers at a time is when it finally peaked.
That was like the premium. That was like when we were at the highest.
Which for a podcast on Twitch, we were like, we're doing amazing.
Yeah, exactly. We're basically the biggest podcast on Twitch. But, we had dreams of larger things, if that makes sense. I personally, I don't want to say we, but I personally had kind of a vision of grandeur of like, hey, we're going to be the next fucking WAN show, right? Or we're going to be the next Kind of Funny Games, stuff like that. Right. And that obviously didn't happen.
No.
But
hasn't happened.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't. And I don't think it will, because we're not trying to do that, right? But I think that we learned a lot.
Yeah, no, we did.
Learned a lot, guys. I mean, a lot from this. I learned more about OBS than I ever thought I would in my entire life. I learned more about building a brand than I did when I was building a brand.
I learned how old all of my shit was.
Matt learned how old all this shit was. We learned how hard it would be to get 3070s, yet both ended up finally being able to, because
our entire show was built upon the story.
Yes.
Of the fact that you couldn't get GPUs.
We spent
so much time talking about
episodes.
That. Which, dude, it was good.
Probably to the point where people were like, okay.
Yeah, I think it was. Well, it even got to the point where I was like, enough. Talk about something different. I don't give a shit what it is.
Yeah. And once Matt and I hit that point, we were like, okay, we're already over here saying talk about something different. Shit's stagnant. YouTube's not doing anything.
No, YouTube was
terrible.
Our
YouTube was awful. It was so bad. I'm not even just talking shit on that. It was just bad.
Well, all we were doing was re-uploading our streams and expecting gold to fall from the sky.
I mean, we're talking like 4 hours, like 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, they were 2 hours long.
Yeah, full VODs uploading, right? And expecting people to just come and go, oh my God, Tech Mess. Wow, this has been missing from my life. That didn't happen.
No, it didn't.
And I'm going to let you do all the talking about YouTube in just a second, but I do want to talk a little bit more before we get there, because I want to talk about how we ended up doing game streaming.
Yeah.
So obviously we started our podcast on Twitch. That's our first problem. We probably should have started it on YouTube, all things considered.
Yeah, because I don't think the YouTube came until probably 5 or 6 episodes into the podcast.
It was like 4. We started
4 episodes?
pretty quick. I mean, you were like, let's get a YouTube going, because you were doing YouTube prior.
YouTube was my thing, so I was like, we need to get a YouTube going to store everything, because Twitch still doesn't store everything.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then the other thing is, I was like, okay, we're on Twitch. Every single person that I see on Twitch plays games. I don't see any of my friends doing a podcast. I don't see anybody interesting doing a podcast, frankly, because I would look, I would scour, I was curious, but it was mainly the guys like, yeah, let's go sit at the table and we'll talk about our day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that just wasn't interesting to me.
Us.
That's not us.
That wasn't what
we were like,
do.
Let's talk about tech, baby. But that, that started to flutter because we decided, and I remember this, we decided we were going to play a game called Valorant. And saying we decided is not fair, because Matt had zero interest in playing Valorant.
It was Jake who decided, because he was like, hey, we should play some games. I'm like, ooh, Apex, and then he comes at me with, "We're gonna play Valorant."
We're gonna play this game you've never heard of.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, we're gonna play this game you've never heard of.
I hated every second of it for the first couple of months.
Yeah, and he was super not into it. Oh, we should play Apex. We should play Apex. Like, just humor me. Let's play some Valorant. And Valorant, believe it or not, that's what got us started. That's
I think
where
Valorant got us over 100, didn't it?
Yeah, that's where I feel we became Twitch streamers.
Yeah.
And that took us 2 months. Right? I don't even consider the first month of TechMess a valid attempt.
No, it was just, well, and the game stream became a secondary stream. So initially we had it after the podcast. We'd play for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But then we wanted more of that. So we started streaming a second day. And that was a full game day.
Yeah, we had an entire day of just game. And it was called TechMess Plays. And I made a kick-ass intro that we never use.
We used to, yeah.
I mean, it was a really cool intro. I learned a lot in After Effects. But
cool though.
So Valorant was, or as Matt calls it, Valorant, because he's a fucking psychopath, was where we got our start. And and I would be remiss not to mention this, but Valorant is what introduced us to that one guy.
It is, yeah.
And I have to say that one guy was pivotal in our growth as Twitch streamers. Yeah. That one guy brought us Z-Remmers. Okay. That one guy was the first person to ever gift a sub. Nope. You know what? Close. Chronic Clown was actually the first person to gift a sub. He gifted it to my dad. Chronic Clown was
the first one. Yeah. But
speaking of which, my dad has been here since fucking day one, people.
Yeah, day one he's been here.
Respect your elders. The Masonic elder. But that one guy, yes. And we decided to build a relationship with him. And as a result, we grew. We had a lot of fun with it. And it was just cool, right? I mean, it was this thing that we were like, oh shit, we're only playing one game right now. We're only playing Valorant. Maybe we'll be Valorant streamers. Because here's one thing that I'll say to everybody who's thinking about streaming. I wish Amulet was in here because this is my wisdom for Amulet right now.
Right.
We don't let any phase become your entire stream.
No.
And here's why. Okay, we started with this idea of doing purely tech news, podcast only, fuck gaming, fuck doing anything else. And look at where we are now.
We game.
It's not a phase, Mom.
We do it all.
Exactly. So,
well,
go ahead, continue.
And that's my big thing. Like my big thing in the beginning was like stagnation. I didn't want us to stagnate because like I would see what Rob was doing and I would see what some of the bigger streamers were doing. And I'm like, we got to mix it up and keep going and going and going. And that's when we started introducing a little bit of Apex. We did play mostly Valorant, but we started introducing more and more games to it. And that was just kind of the beginning of this experimental concept that is our channel.
Which is funny to us because to us, we're experimenting. And to anyone else, this is Twitch streaming.
Right. Well, I look at it this way, is like streaming is still so very new. And it's very much one of those situations where we are on the forefront of it. So we are very much a part of this gigantic movement that hasn't necessarily taken off yet. Like it's growing and it's getting there.
I mean, it's massive. It's gigantic.
To be the part that we are in this and to be like constantly looking on for ways to like change it and grow it and be better and do better. It's a feeling I have chased my entire life.
Yes, but really, yes. So what was I saying? Okay.
So
this is the moment when I was just talking about you, Amulet. I said, hey, bud, this is the wisdom, okay? And it's don't fall into any sort of niche, if that makes any sense at all.
Well, and we've tried so many times to do fucking niches.
And
it just never works. Like niches, I'm gonna quote Gary Vee, and I know Jake hates it, but your niche is you. Like we are our niche. We are TechMess.
Yeah,
that's us. So trying to fit ourselves into a niche just has never worked.
No.
If that makes sense.
And here's the thing as well, okay? And I agree to an extent with this kind of statement of, yeah, okay, we don't want to be stuck in a niche, but we also don't want to be, we do a little bit of everything. We make tutorials, and then we also make podcasts, and then we also make vlogs. We do all these things.
It's a non-narrowed niche.
Yeah, that's not. It doesn't. But okay.
Not a term, but it's something.
it's a stream of consciousness that you just kind of spit out.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, and here's what it comes down to for us. We started doing this and we're like, okay, we don't want to do any streaming or game streaming, I mean, right? And we don't want to do X, Y, Z, whatever. Then we started playing Valorant. Valorant was awesome. You can still go see our games of Valorant on YouTube.
Yep. A whole bunch of them.
And we might even bring it back, but we won't get too far into this.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
But I don't know why I went, but what it really comes down to, if we bring it back on Master, hell yeah, let's fucking go. For sure, dude. We would love to actually have a full squad. Oh, we have a community now who'd actually be down to play a full squad.
Jake didn't realize this until now, but it's been a year. He just realized we have a community now.
We didn't have a community before. We were lucky to have Rob
we do
join
now.
us.
It's true. We had to beg Rob.
Honestly,
but now we have peeps.
That's so cool.
That's nice.
Oh my god, that's awesome. Anyway, I'm so sorry.
That's a great thing.
Let me get back to my train of thought here. Now, before I let Matt start talking about YouTube, I want to say, after Valorant, my friend Sean comes to me and says, "You're doing like live streaming now, right?" Sean's like a great friend of mine. I have been.
Yeah.
I was the officiant at his wedding. I technically, I married him and his wife, who were two of my best friends. And he said, "You guys should try this game, Phasmophobia." And I was like, "Fuck that." I've looked into Phasmophobia. No way in hell am I trying it.
And so it was Sean
goes,
fresh.
Sean basically says, "Fuck you," buys it for me. And then I'm like, "All right, Matt, you don't like horror games."
No, I fucking hate horror.
But it's Halloween, so in the spirit, let's just play this fucking game, Phasmophobia. And now I'll let Matt talk about YouTube.
Well, see, and that's where we came. You know, like we were talking about trying to grow the YouTube, and so we were doing the same shit with the stream stuff. Like we were uploading the full games from Twitch to YouTube. It was a gigantic waste of time. My upload speed was awful, but we started to see a little bit of an uptick in growth, and then we started looking. I think this is around the time when I personally discovered Markiplier. Because I had never watched Markiplier before. Yeah, maybe 8 or 9 months ago. And it's funny too because my buddy told me he's been telling me to watch him for years. But I discovered him and I started watching him. I'm like, this is what we should be doing.
This is the shit right here.
Right. And so I started relearning how to edit, and I started taking I started with Dark Souls because that was one of the first ones that we were really trying to like play.
We really wanted to push that.
Yeah, and so we went from like 2.5 hour streams, and I cut the third one down to like 38 minutes or something like that. And that became one of our top viewed videos at the time. And so from there, we just kind of like went on this track of like, all right, everything's got to be cut down. Everything's got to be edited. I really hated the process. I still don't love the process, but it's what we do now.
Yeah.
And like now we're here at 30 Nights of Frights almost a year later, and I have uploaded a video every fucking day this month, and I can't believe I've done it. But YouTube was like the next step for us, where we were like, we need to get our content to people who don't necessarily want to watch live streams, but they do want to see people goofing off and fucking around. And that is where we kind of discovered that horror was something we enjoyed building content around. But yeah, so that was the next evolution, and to make sure that we grew the YouTube to be our secondary platform. Because like my thing is that you never put your focus, all your eggs in one basket.
Of course. Yeah, no, and I even agree
And
with that
so
idea. Get on board.
Twitch became the generator. YouTube was the long form content. And then we split off to TikTok and YouTube Shorts, which wasn't a thing until about 4 or 5 months ago. But yeah, so I mean that's the story on the YouTube. That's why we did.
Before we get too mushy and gushy, I want to get into thanking all of you, okay?
Yeah, no, for real.
Because when we started this, and I every part of my being is actually wanting to open up that first episode so you guys could see what a terrible fucking mess it was, so you can understand for yourselves if you're thinking about streaming. You know what? No, I'm just gonna do it. Fuck them. If they don't want to see it, fuck them. You know what I mean?
Don't play the whole fucking thing.
No, I'm gonna show them like the first, just so they can see
45 seconds of
humble beginnings, if that makes sense. And this is in no way us patting ourselves on the back saying, look how far we've come, we're such huge people now. But it's just really cool to look back on, because
it really is.
I have this horrible problem, okay? And I have this horrible problem looking at other streamers, okay? I'm like, how long have they been streaming?
We're going to show you guys how we started. Basically like what our stream looked like versus what it looks like now. Like, which honestly, when we started, like with the work that Jake did, we were both like, ooh, this looks fucking sick.
This is sick. Oh my God. I can't believe we did this.
But God, it's bad.
Yeah. Here, you know what? Let me shrink this down a little bit. And guys, and I just, again, if this is if anything, I want this to be a testament to folks like Amulet or folks like Tex who are like, oh, I'm thinking about doing this, but I'm not quite sure, right? Not Amulet at this point. I mean, Amulets are doing it full scale, but you know what I'm saying. So
yeah, he just said affiliate.
This, my friends, is the first episode of Tech Mess. Look at those lovely boys. I hope you're ready.
Oh God!
If it'll even load, it might not even load. Hey, we're live. Oh,
YouTube's been
shit
as of late. God, so bad.
Well, we're working on it.
I don't even remember. Oh, that was my shotgun mic that I was using.
Anyway, so this it was that shitty one you had for work.
Oh, that's right. It was the it was the USB mic. Yeah, that's the Yeti which died and I tried to save.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did you hear that pop?
God. Yeah. We didn't have any lighting. Like, we barely had anything. I think Jake was using like a screen or something to light himself up.
Yeah, I was using like a panel, I think is what I had. So, okay.
Well,
now that you saw that, and do you see these colors? Like, what is this right now?
Honestly, though, I like the old like design that we had for like the starting soon screen and everything. Like, it flowed really well. Yeah, that was the layout. That was the original layout.
And I'll be real with you all right fucking now. No part of me isn't proud of this. I'm going to be 100% with you. In fact, I'm going to put it right here so y'all can...
It worked. Like, Jake worked really hard on that.
I did. I truly did. I was
looking
very
at it now, they
of
kind of look like popsicles, but...
Whatever, you know? We were going for this weird-ish vibe,
yeah.
And I don't know what exactly it was.
Right.
But here we go. I'll just play real quick. You know what? Let's just get right into it. How about that? Welcome to Tech Mess, the show where two enthusiastic, if not slightly unreliable, for those of you listening at home, bring you all the tech and gaming news.
Yeah, you guys should watch the YouTube video. Morbid Message Mondays on YouTube. The video will be up tomorrow, or Tuesday.
I'm Jake.
You guys won't know until it comes up anyway.
Jake's voice doesn't sound deep.
Yeah, well, we had shit equipment. Oh, so that you just saw it. You see how my camera turned off? I was using a Canon T6. Was it a T6i?
T6i. No, it was your the one you had.
Oh, it was a 60D. It was
60D.
a Canon 60D.
It was a 60D. Yeah.
The fucking thing, no matter what I did, it would just turn off.
Here's one of the more embarrassing ones.
Is that one of our Valorant?
Not only.
And this is why I love. We still have the same starting soon screen.
Yep. We do.
But we love that one.
Yeah.
Dude,
Um,
Amulet, you've not been here that long. You're right. I'm going to show you everything. You know what? I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
well, don't
So-
show everything.
No,
but,
I'm just
like,
going to show
yeah,
for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, talk. And now you talk.
So you can see this is the first evolution. We still kept those horrible chunky borders.
Yep.
Horrible chunky borders. Okay. Now, I'm going to show Amulet because, and look at, okay, you see how far I'm scrolling right now to find this shit?
This is why I love YouTube, and this is why I wanted to start the YouTube, because it is literally, it is an archive. It is our archive of where we started and where we are now.
Mm-hmm. So you saw what you saw there, right? Now, hold on. I got to really go back here.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for what the Phasma was.
The KFC console, right there, down one.
What? Wait.
Oh, is that?
Just heard a door close.
So this is our Phasmophobia.
The original layout.
This is our original layout. We had a big old chunky follower goal.
Looking for the Ouija board right now.
Yeah.
Let me turn the light on. Turn the light on.
There's my green hair.
Together. It says.
Well, now we use the worker bee.
Now we use the
From
worker bee. But we had
Mike's.
the Q2Us forever, and I still highly
Well,
recommend
yeah.
them.
So Jake got his QT. So the thing about me and Jake is Jake would always get something nice or set something up nice, and I'd look at my shit and be like, how do I set that up too?
How do I look more like this?
Now it's unfortunate buying things. But
Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys so you could all see, especially you, Amulet, because I know you have so much fear and anxiety about your stream, and there's nothing to be afraid of.
yeah, basically.
That's what I'm trying to get across here. We don't know what the hell we're doing. YouTube is amazing when it comes to channel organization.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
it really
yeah.
is. Like, we love our
Absolutely.
YouTube, and like the amount of work that we put into it now is like bar none. I mean, we started TechMess alone because I wanted to start growing the YouTube and making it more than just like a stream VOD directory.
Yeah.
And so with TechMess alone, like me and Jake play games by ourselves that are, they're
Ultimately
not multiplayer. We do
terrifying.
Right, we do multiplayer games on stream for you guys to enjoy and hang out with us. But the reality is we wanted something for YouTube, and that's where TechMess alone came in, and that's where 30 Nights of Frights is. It is us playing by ourselves for your entertainment.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's crazy to look back and see where we came from and what's happened.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I don't want this to go on too long because I actually really want to play Phasmophobia. But I guess, when it comes to making content in general, and I'm just going to leave you all with this. When it comes to making
content in general, look at the platform you're choosing, okay? Because we started with Twitch, right? And we looked at Twitch and we're like, okay, here comes, let's do YouTube. It can't be that much different. All we gotta do is upload our shit, and that's it. And now our YouTube has evolved to something completely different as a result. We both play games basically by ourselves. I think we're gonna start bringing back the multiplayer stuff soon.
Yeah, we are, after 30 Nights of Frights is over.
But, I mean, we used to do no edits. Now we have fucking awesome edits. And it's just evolved and it's grown. And there's a certain amount of kind of the fear of feeling fake that comes with this. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, dude, it's still a demon voice weekend. It's motivational demon time. There's a fear of fakeness, right? There's a fear of being a poser. Don't fall into that. Don't fall into that, right? Because
Okay, there you go. Now I'm back. Because if you do, you'll never know what could happen. Did I think when we started this show in 2020 that I would be playing Poppy Playtime?
Right?
No. Not at all. There's Jake in a cave. Hello.
I think for me, like the biggest change or the biggest realization that we had something came from when we started talking to people every single day in a Discord.
Yep. Absolutely.
Because to me, that's weird because like, we go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We see you. Oh shit. Let me just punch my mic into my face. We see you guys every one of those days. But the reality is like being able to connect with you guys every single day, share jokes, share tech stuff, like share all of that stuff.
Sure. Text
That is when
stuff.
right. That's when it really like popped. And I was like, holy shit, it's a community.
We became much more community minded.
Yeah.
As a result. And I think that's
Right.
I don't want to say that's beautiful. It is.
It is. No, it is. it's something I never expected, because we started this as just we're just gonna play around and have fun, and like we're still doing that.
And we still are
But
every day.
yeah, but it's like it's grown so much, and like people ask me like, don't you get tired of editing videos? It's like I enjoy it now for whatever reason. Like I do hate the process, but I enjoy listening to what people think about the stuff we make.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And guys, this
So-
is with a YouTube
Yeah.
of 170 subscribers and an average of like 10 views a video, but we love it so much that none of that shit bothers us.
I mean, it's been popping up.
It's been
Quite-
regardless. You know what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say. I'm
yeah,
trying to be
right, right,
motivational.
I get it. We
And-
actually show up in the YouTube search, which was my goal.
Which is nuts to me. But anyway, folks, that was a year in review. Tech
You're
Mess.
in review.
If you guys like this kind of content, please let us know either in the comments on YouTube, in chat right now,
Or join the Discord.
join the Discord. Let us know there, because
Exclamation point Discord will get you there. We talk all day long.
I'll be real. I enjoyed this very much because it was all
This
right
was-
off the cuff.
This was super fun. I enjoyed this a lot.
But kindly viewer/listener, I hope you have a great day, night, evening, whatever it happens to be that you're having. And yeah, you know, if you think about doing something, just do it. All right. Thanks so much, kindly
guys.
viewer/listener. Matt, what are your final thoughts here?
That's it for me, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate everything you do for us.
And we will see you next Monday for an actual topic of morbid stuff, or maybe we'll just talk more about ourselves, because fuck it.
Fuck it.
We out.
We out. There we go. That's how we end the podcast now. We out.